The Saturday Show with Stu James.
Hey, he's back!
I forgot, he's terrible. Maidstone Radio.
Elton John and I Don't Want to Go Out Like That on Maidstone Radio. It is the Saturday show. Stu with you, with Joe and Phoebe as well. And our special guest during this hour is Thomas Perry from the Men's Mind Project. Morning, Thomas.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Jolly good. You found us all right then?
Yeah, in the end.
We're kind of tucked away a little bit here, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're down a sort of a rabbit hole almost. So tell us a little bit about the Men's Mind Project. What is it?
Well, it's basically to tackle men's mental health and break that stigma that's still behind it. I mean, men are struggling to speak up and men are struggling in silence. And this whole project is basically to get men to come forward to speak up and say that they're struggling.
So, Tom, is this your project, your life now? Does it take up all your time, or do you have a full-time job alongside it?
I work full-time and I do this from Friday to Sunday mainly. I do it after work as well, but it takes up a lot of time. Not so much now. We've been established for a CIC. I mean, I've got a lot of help now, but when I first started off, it was quite 24/7 and 7 days a week kind of job, doing my full-time job and doing this as well. Yeah, so it was a bit stressful at times, but we've got a good team behind us now, so it kind of takes the pressure off for me a little bit.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. I mean, as one of the team running this radio station and having a job, it is certainly quite a task. It's basically two jobs. I do this in the evening and my regular work during the day. But there must have been a catalyst for setting this project up. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, just December just gone, I had a nervous breakdown and I was ill for some time. And, I was in a real dark place and I just couldn't get out of it. And I ended up going for CBT, which helped me out massively in the end. But I still felt like I couldn't speak up a lot and I still felt embarrassed to talk about my problems. And it got me thinking, why is that? Why do guys have trouble speaking? And I thought this is something that needs to be addressed. And so I kind of come up with this idea in my head, only loosely, and see how it went. And I built out this foundation and it just kicked off. And we've got loads of members now with lots of support. And yeah, it's all going well. And a lot of men are coming forward now. And we are basically helping men to get off of that virtual bridge.
Yeah, and there's a certain bravado, I think. There's a masculinity, let's say, typically with men, that, I just brush that under the carpet or, I don't need to talk to anyone about this. But there are still, I had an event in my life, quite a few years ago now, 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer, that really threw me mentally, in the gutter for a little while. And talking about it certainly helped. So I applaud you for doing this, because to deal with whatever issue it was that you had, and then to have the strength of character to say, right, you know what, I'm actually going to do something about this and address the problem head on is it's incredible. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a tough ride, but we're getting there now, and we're helping to break that barrier, to break that stigma. And we've got a lot of men coming forward now. And I believe that we can really help people if they want to, if they want help, come talk to us. We're not professionals. I'm not a professional. My partner in this, who's one of the directors, he is a life coach. But he's just a normal guy as well. We're not therapists, we're not counsellors. We will sit down, we will listen to you. Yeah. And I think that helps.
Definitely. Have you seen a noticeable increase in needs of support because of the coronavirus and pandemic lockdown?
Yes, yeah, very much so. When I started this off in February, we had a big increase of members joining because of the lockdown. A lot of them having, suicidal thoughts and depression and stuff like that because of what's been going on. Now it's kind of easing a little bit. We have seen a decline in their members, because obviously things are getting back to normal slowly. But, so I think lockdown has been a big hit for men and anyone in general, really. It's been a big hit to the nation. And, but men are just less likely to speak up about it and speak up.
That's the issue, isn't it?
That's the issue, yeah.
That's the main point that is the issue. Listen, let's play a song and we'll come back and talk to you again, in about 3 or 4 minutes time. This is Handbags and Glad Rags on Maidstone Radio from the Stereophonics. We're here with Tom Perry from the Men's Mind Project for the next 10-15 minutes or so. What was I saying earlier on about watching The Office since lockdown? Handbags and Glad Rags from Stereophonics. We're here with Tom Perry from the Men's Mind Project and talking about mental health, specifically for men. And whilst that song was playing, you were kind enough to perhaps go into a little bit more detail about the event that made you start this group up. And perhaps you'd like to share it with us?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in December I had a massive breakdown, and it was triggered by, I lost my old man 5 years ago, and I never really grieved it. I kind of like just got over it, snubbed it off. I never really cried. I think I only cried once when he passed away, and I just bottled it up. And I think over them 5 years it built up. And then I see a video with him on it in December, and yeah, I just felt fine. I felt great. Felt happy to see him moving and talking. Happy to hear his voice again. And then I sat down after watching the video and I just collapsed. I thought I was having a heart attack. I just couldn't catch my breath. The ambulance was called. I went to hospital and they said it was a panic attack. And then from that point onwards, it was like a PTSD. I kept waking up, panic attacks, sweating, shaking. I just couldn't stop. And this went on for a good 4 weeks, solid, where I just couldn't sleep. And my wife, bless her heart, I mean, she stayed with me every night, sat out with me hours on end whilst my heart was going to rip out my chest. I went to hospital again, and I've had checks, and I was fine, but mentally, I was drained, and I thought I was dying, and my mental health was really bad, to the point that I just didn't know what to do. And I was lucky enough to get the help, and I got myself back on track eventually, and come February I started this whole project and started a group, and I'm a lot better now. And but it was tough going, but I picked myself up, and I'm just basically helping guys out now, helping guys out who are in similar situations, who are struggling to speak up, and to let them know you can talk and nobody's going to judge you for it.
Do you think if you'd perhaps dealt with the passing of your father closer to the time, it wouldn't have become such a burden for you, and wouldn't have welled up so deep inside you for such a long period?
Oh yeah, I think if I would have grieved when I should have grieved, I think I would have probably not got to this point. So I do think bottling things up and not expressing your emotions, it's okay for men to cry. And it doesn't make you any less of a man. And like I always say, I have a saying and I always stick by it. Yes, we are men, but we are still human. And I think people need to realise that in society, we're not robots.
Yeah.
Definitely. What would you say, in your opinion, men can do if they need support?
There's a lot out there in general for mental health to get support with, but not a lot of men will go for services because they're embarrassed. A lot of talking services help. We help. We're like I say, we're not professionals, but we will listen to people. Don't matter where you are. We will talk to people and we will listen. We obviously won't give medical advice because we're not medically trained, but we will listen to you. And sometimes talking does help. And, if our page is always open, our group's always open for anyone who wants to come on. But then again, there is other resources around. And we never deter people away from them. We always advertise Samaritans and stuff like that. And, I think that's, always good to have a bigger option, not just one option, not just us, but there is other, I'll advertise other groups, other mental health groups in that as well, because I think that we're all in this together, and I think we can all help each other out. So it's not just down to this is just me. It's a bigger picture here, and I think if we all work together, we can really tackle this, especially around the local areas.
Yeah, because your social media groups, they've got men in the groups that come from all over the world.
Yeah, we have.
It's not just localised, is it?
We was lucky, to be fair. We got men from America, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, Dubai, I mean, it's just quite a bit over the world map and that. So, we're very lucky and very fortunate to have people come from all over the world and all different experiences and different cultures. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm finding this conversation extraordinary. It's not obviously a sort of everyday subject for me. But it's enlightening. I suppose one question would be, how would one person recognize that they have a need for help? Are there any triggers that might sort of make them think, oh, hang on, this isn't right, I need to speak to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many different ways that, we express ourselves and we can show signs. I mean, generally getting a bit panicked when you're out, getting a bit of sweat. I know it sounds silly, but sweating a lot is another one. I mean, some people don't realise that sweating is a big indicator to anxiety and that as well, especially, if it's no cause for it. And, I mean, there's loads and loads of things out there, just loads of triggers out there. And I mean, it's things out there called smiling depression. And that's what a lot of people don't know about it. I tried to,
what's that called? Smiling depression?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about it.
I've never heard of that.
It's not well known. I mean, I try to advertise it a lot in the groups and try to make an awareness about it. I mean, a guy can be smiling, or anyone can be smiling, can be really happy-go-lucky, but they can be really suicidal as well underneath.
Right.
And it's the people with smiling depression are the ones that are more likely to do something about it. It's people with the normal depression where they're too exhausted, they don't have the energy and they don't have the fight for it. But people with smiling depression tend to have that oomph to do it because they're physically fit enough and all that, and they seem alright in themselves. But it's just that little snap.
The smile is a sort of veil.
Yeah, it's like basically it's a mask, and it is basically it's just them acting like they're right in front of people, but deep down they're struggling. And this is the thing I try to promote as well, because to let men know that you could be smiling, you could be happy, but you also could be struggling as well. And this is what I always say, always check on your friends, your neighbours, your colleagues. Ask if they're okay. And if they say yes, ask again. Ask them twice, I think really does make a big impact. And it does work. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who have come forward to me personally after I've done this and said, I am struggling. And I'm not saying I'm a saviour, but I have helped a lot of people, I would say, in a short space of time to speak up. I mean, I'm not saying I've cured people of their depression, but I've kind of gave them somewhere to go and, let steam out and kind of talk. And
you've given them an opportunity to acknowledge that there's an issue and to start to deal with it.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, and I'm very fortunate to have this other guy called Jamie who's working with me now, who's a life coach. I mean, he's fantastic. He really is good. I mean, he works with a lot of the men and he does a lot of free sessions because, his job is a life coach and he will help guys out. And he's worked with a lot of guys and we've had a lot of success with this kind of role, with this role and us working together. We have been a great team, and we are getting through to people. So it's great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's very interesting because I keep getting, I sometimes forget that we're here. It just feels like we're all chatting.
Yeah.
Just about what's going on and everything. It's so interesting to hear. And just for our listeners and also for myself and Stu, what's the, your social media details? How do we get onto these pages? How do we find you?
I mean, the page itself on Facebook is called the Men's Mind Project, and that is for anyone to like or follow. And then we have a private group which you can kind of get the link through the page for it, but that's called Men's Mind, and that is just a private group for men to come to, where they can just have a chat and let what's on their mind out. And I think that helps a lot as well. So
that's a Facebook Messenger chat group or something like that?
Yeah, we've got a Facebook group, like a group similar to a page really, but it's private, so only certain people can join, like for men and that, so you have to be accepted into the group. But the page is basically to promote men's mental health. The group is where we do the work, where we help people who are struggling, and where guys can come to and write a post if they're struggling, and people can reach out. I mean, not just me, not just Jamie, but someone might type a message out, and then somebody else might answer it or might offer support. So we're all supporting each other in this, all supporting each other in this role, which is great. And I mean, we've built up a massive community now. I mean, I'm very humbled by the amount of followers we've got and the amount of members we've got. I mean, in a short space of time, I genuinely believe that what we're doing is going to make a difference.
Well, I think that's sort of validated by the number of people that you've got in your social media groups. 600 odd followers and 1,000 likes, or I can't remember the exact numbers we spoke about.
1,000 followers, just under 1,000 followers, and we have just under 600 members in the private group.
Wow. That tells a story there, and that's since you set it up, whenever it was, December. It's extraordinary, and this is the first time that we've met. We've exchanged some emails before today. If I may, I've observed that you seem sort of quite shy and quiet. So to take this on as a quiet person, someone who's a little shy, maybe a little, humble or whatever, so to have had the experience that you've had, to maybe not have conquered it, but to have dealt with it at the time and to grow stronger through it, and then to have set up this group and have 1,000 members, 1,000 likes and 600 members since December. I take my hat off to you. I think what you've done is incredible.
Thank you.
And, we'll be right behind you here at Maidstone Radio. We'll do whatever we can to support you. I can only say thank you for giving us some of your time this morning, and for coming in.
Thank you.
Maybe we can catch up in a few months' time and see how things are going.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
In the meantime, there are some help pages at wearemaidstone.com. We'll add your page to that. Just look for wearemaidstone.com/support. And if you need help right now, you can contact the Samaritans on 116 123. Otherwise, look for the Men's Mind Project in Facebook. Thomas Perry, thank you very, very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.